Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be working on the ML350's tie rod ends. So we're going to take out the outer tie rod end and the inner tie rod end at the same time, and I'll show you my way of doing it, because I know online people have done it a few different ways. Some are good, some are questionable, but I just came across a just easier method doing the other side, and I decided to film it and just make it available in case it helps someone else out. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So the parts that I'm actually putting into it are almost identical weight wise and build quality wise, but they are by URO, and I believe they're made in Germany. Okay, this is the outer tie rod. Comes with a plastic nice protector on it. So same length, same weight. It's literally identical. And I had a good success changing the other side. So the way they're gonna go on is this one screws into the inner tie rod, and then you count your threads, how many threads it's out, and then you just bolt it in straight into the steering rack, and then this end will go back into it. But so first things first, what I've done is I've soaked these nuts and the bolt both in seafoam Deep Creek, so now hopefully they will come off easy, but no such thing easy on a rusted old car. So let's give it a shot. Okay, that worked out good. That one's actually crusty with bits on it. So, sorry, in case I forgot, that says 22mm socket. And I've realized if one thing that makes it easy to work on is to crank the steering wheel all the way to the right hand side, so this rod can be pushed out towards us and we can work on this big nut here instead of having too much interference from the lower control arm. So I'm going to crank the steering wheel and you can just see how it turns out towards you. I'm working on the passenger side, so this arm is going to extend outwards and make it easier for us to work on it. Okay guys, so the next thing I want to do is, I'll try to get the camera close so you can just see, just get this pin that's on there, or the clamp, sorry, steering clamp. Just hold it, pull it back, and open it up enough so it comes off completely. So we've cleared out this spot here. Actually, maybe that might not even be necessary if you're gonna go down the other route if it doesn't open, but we'll see. Okay, now let's try getting this one open. Let's try getting the camera sorted first. I have to put it right next to me so it just catches, what do you call it, really closely, and it just sounds like I'm breathing really heavy because it's really shoved in my face here. And then trying to open it. Actually, it's tightening that way. What is it? Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Oh no, that's right. It's gotta come this way. Okay guys, so that nut won't budge, and I am not gonna try and use gonna try not using excessive force on it, this one here. So what I'm gonna do is take out the tie rod end and take out the other end, and then just try to see if it comes off in vise, or maybe I'll just cut it off with an angle grinder and take the boot off. I wasn't able to get a new boot, otherwise I won't even have to cut it, but there's only so many parts for these things you can get them in stock without going to the dealership, and that really costs an arm and a leg here in Canada. So I'm just gonna reuse this, and if you guys can get your hand on new parts, by all means just replace them, so that's one less thing to wear out in future. So what I'm doing here is just using a screwdriver in the original clamp and just gonna extend it, open it up so it can actually come off. And to do that, okay guys, so I've pried off this clamp that actually sits on the boot like that. So what I've done is shove the screwdriver in there and just gap it, that this little notch here comes off, releases it. This is useless, by the way. I'm not going to try and use it again. Like I said, again, if you have an access to a brand new boot and these clamps, by all means replace them with genuine. But for me, I'm just going to use a metal zip tie or a stainless steel zip tie. One of these just to hold it back, because I don't know if plastic ones will hang on there or not over time. And as these are the original tie rod ends that I'm replacing due to play and crappy steering geometry, they lasted almost 200,000 K so far. So metal tie rod end, metal clamp should last a while. Sorry, getting sidetracked here. So pull this boot back now, because remember, this thing is frozen and I can't take off, and most of the, I mean, I could try hammering it out, but that would destroy my steering rack. So I'm just gonna pull this back and trying to put, I have actually tried to undo it. So what I did was put the wrench here, no need to hammer it, just get under the car and pull it down, it'll come off. It's not secured by blue Loctite or any other crap that people claim, especially on these models. It's just a good old nut that's tightened. You push it hard enough, it comes down, and now it's just a matter of undoing it clockwise. It's not counterclockwise, so just keep turning it. Turn, and it comes off. It just did now. And there we go. That side's undone. And now on this one, I am going to use a hammer with the nut being there, even though I don't need the threads protected, but it's just a good practice to do it that way. There we go. Done. Came off. Okay guys, so it's a T40 that goes in the bolt. Okay, there we go. Now we have the old one out, and look how short it is. There's nothing to it. It's just done. Super easy to move around. And the other side's even worse. Hold this back and you can see there's nothing left in it. I can move it just with one finger. This thing is completely shot. So now, to retrieve this boot here, I'm just gonna cut it with an angle grinder. With a cutting blade, it takes about 40 seconds and it comes off. You slide it back and then put it all back together, and remember the thread count. See how many threads there were just to get a rough estimate of your alignment. You'll still have to go through a wheel alignment to make sure you're protecting your suspension system and your tires. So I'm sitting roughly at the 4th thread. That's the reference point I'll take when I tighten this all up. So please remember to count the number of threads and take it for wheel alignment after you've done this job. The sooner the better. Any delay, let's just chop it off before my neighbors get super mad that I'm making all this noise at nighttime. Okay guys, so we're gonna make a cut right here, take it off, and then slide the boot off it. Okay, that part is done. Now this thing is relatively easy to just come off. You don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you take this pin off as well, sorry, the clip off. Just grab a good old crescent wrench and it just comes off. Take this off, we're gonna need it on the new one. And just bring it down. Okay guys, just for a little comparison, I'll show you how stiff these new ones are. I'm literally trying my best to turn this thing around, and it's not moving. It's supposed to be super stiff, and the old ones were shot. So in my opinion, it's easier if you get this one on first, and then you can tighten it. Get the inner tie rod on, and then grab, either you can get a Crowfoot specialized 36mm wrench. That's probably going to take a decade to find here in Canada with everything running off the shelf, so you can get a good old 12-inch 300mm wrench and just use that. Remember, the easier way is to get under there. Okay, get this thing on as good as you possibly can. That's good enough. Okay guys, so now the boot is clear off everything. So the next thing to do is put this on there just right. And then grab a clamp for the other end so you don't forget. Okay, put that on. And then what I might actually do is, before I pack it in, I am going to throw a bit of grease in there. Just seems a bit dry, just to make sure that steering rack is not running dry. It just seems like there was signs of grease before, and there's nothing here now. Okay guys, so we've put some grease in there. Not too much, just about enough so it stays and lubricates a bit. Put the boot back on. And now we're going to use a zip tie, a metal zip tie. Let's just make a ring of it and then just slide it all the way over. Once you do, make sure it's lined up on the spot where you want it. Right. And that's done. Then I'll show you this side. Camera. Working right. Alright. So what we need to do now is put up and screwdriver down here, and then just pull, push down and pull so it tightens up. Okay, you get the idea. I'm gonna get under the car and do it that way because it's easier to do it from underneath. Okay guys, so that side is all secure, and now we go on to installing the inner tie rod end. And remember, when we first took off the inner and outer tie rod ends, we had it at 3 threads, 3rd thread, 4th thread. We had it on the 4th thread, so we're just gonna go back up to it. Okay guys, so now we've got it dialed in at the 4th thread from the start towards the inner rod to the outer one. So the nut sits there, and then I'm just gonna put this on the outer tie rod end and then just tighten it. And for some reason this one doesn't want to go on, so that's kind of fun. Oh, there we go. It's working. Keep turning it. Alright guys, so once that's done, you can just put this on. Size 22mm again on this URO part. It's tight as it gets, and there you go guys. That's how you do the inner and outer tie rod ends. If this nut here or the shaft inside the outer tie rod is frozen, I recommend using a 36mm or a 12-inch adjustable wrench. Just take it off there, cut it, take the boot off, or if you have a boot, then just remove it from the far end, and this end just remove two of these and just replace the whole shaft that way. And after this, the steering should be a lot better, because these old ends were beyond shot. Like you can just see there's nothing in it. Look how easy it is to shake and move. It didn't feel right. So now with this, I'm just hoping for a lot of improvement, and hopefully before I edit the video, I'll add in my review of these pots and how the actual SUV is driving right now, and the steering might have a lot less play. Like before, I had good 30 to 40 mils each way. Before I do the correction, there was a play in the steering wheel, and I'm hoping that's corrected right now. Thanks for watching the video guys. If you're new, please subscribe, help my channel, and if you already subscribed, I really thank you for that. Okay guys, these are my impressions after the tie rod end and the inner rod end changes. The steering feels a lot more predictable. There is no crazy play in the steering wheel. Like before it actually gets active, it would be good 30-40 mil. Like I have to crank it this much and then the steering will start to engage. But now luckily it's actually very predictable, and it was totally worth the effort. A good hour and a half to do the job. And it works out. Handling wise, it's a lot of improvement. Like you actually enjoy driving the car now. Before it was just that feeling of driving old ratty junker, in a sense, when the steering is not acting the way you want it to be. Not saying that this is a 2022 Mercedes, but being an old Mercedes, those cheaper parts have made a really big difference. I would highly recommend doing the job, and you will see the results for yourself. Thank you once again, and have a great day. Bye now.